Hi everyone, how you doing? Today's date is the 22nd of February 2022, and I just want to begin by welcoming all the new subscribers to the channel. It's brilliant that you're here, and I hope that you are able to find some information on the channel that's of use to you. The purpose of this channel is to try and enable people to gain some understanding of what gambling addiction is and what gambling addiction isn't. So I hope that these videos are useful in helping people get a better understanding of what's actually going on, because it is really it's a really confusing condition to be living with and struggling with gambling addiction. Now, I've had a number of people who have been saying, "How do I stop? How do I quit? How do I?" And this is the purpose of this channel. I don't have all the answers. I'm not an expert, like I keep saying. I'm just somebody who has gone through a significant experience of struggling with gambling, and who's managed to come out the other side, and fortunately, for a good number of years now, being able to live a life better than it was before, a hell of a lot better than what it was before. So somebody asked, well, why didn't you just give your control of your finances over to somebody else? Now, on the face of it, that sounds like a great idea. But the problem is, what happens if you've got nobody to look after your finances? What happens if your gambling has got you to the extent where friends and family no longer want anything to do with you because of the way that your gambling has escalated, and the way you've become as a result of your gambling? If you've got nobody around to do that for you, suggesting to somebody to look after their finances is a pretty pointless suggestion. It can work in some sense if you're still in a relationship, or you're still in contact with family and stuff like that. It can work, but how long do you do that for? Say I give my control of the finances to my partner. How long does that go on for the rest of my life? When do I know? When am I going to know that it's okay for me to have money back again? And the thing is, it's what it's doing. It's making the other person responsible for your for your remaining gambling free. It can take us away from gambling. It can take you away and give you a bit of space from gambling. But the thing is, if there's no change, all you're doing is just not gambling. The cause of repeated going back to gambling hasn't been addressed. And at some point, when you feel like you're okay, like you're able to manage, and you're given control of your finances again, what happens if your mind twists and you put that first bet on, and then you go back on a spree, and then it all starts up again? What you're going to do? Well, blame your partner. It's your fault. You shouldn't have given me the control of my finances again. I wasn't ready. You should have said no. So it puts our partner, it puts our family in a really, really challenging and difficult situation when we suggest, "Oh, you look after your finances." And a lot of the time, compulsive gamblers and gambling addicts don't have their close relationships intact, because they've been damaged through the gambling. So what seems like a common sense thing to many just isn't practical in relation to gambling for many people. There is other things where you can people talk about putting software on the putting software on the computer to block them from gaining access to gambling sites and stuff like that. Okay, that sounds like a very good option, but there is ways and means to get round gambling blocking software, and all you've got to do is Google it, sadly. So if you're determined enough to do it, even though once you put that software on your computer, you can't take it off for the license. There is people who have found ways around it and published how to do it online, which is criminal. I can remember I put a there was a blocker developed years ago for Firefox, for a browser. And I thought, oh, great, that'll work. I put it on my browser. But you could take it off whenever you wanted. You could turn it off. You could actually turn it off. And if you used another browser, say I used Chrome, it didn't have the blocker on. So it was useless, a useless piece of technology. And I was really confident. It's like, yeah, this is going to work. This is going to work. But this is it. You find that these things sound good initially, but don't work. I mean, one of the things that I have heard can be of benefit is going to your bank and saying to your bank, do not allow me to have online transactions related to gambling sites. That's a new thing that the banks have done. When I was in the midst of all the madness, they didn't do that at the time, but they can do that now. I mean, with me, what I did, I know your credit cards and your debit cards. On the back, you've got the three pin security code. When I would order a new card and try not to look at the back. This is how bad it was. I would try not to look at the back, and with a marker, scribble it out, so I wouldn't be able to see what it is. And then once I'd scribbled it out and you couldn't identify what the 3-pin thing was, I thought, oh, great, that's brilliant. But the issue was I couldn't buy things online because I didn't know the 3-pin number. I couldn't do this, that, and the other. So eventually I would have to buy I would have to get another card from the bank, and then I would say to myself, all right, well, it'll be okay. You know what I mean? I don't need, and within no time at all, I'd be gambling again. So there's that. I took a drastic route. I got rid of the internet for a while. Then I got it back thinking that I was going to be okay. And then I started gambling again. There's a whole host of things that people try. And some people have success with it. Some people can just give their money to their partner, give their partner complete access and control over their finances, and be okay with it. But not everybody's partner wants to do that. That's another thing. It's that method is dependent upon your partner being willing to do it. Because it's not just a big thing for us; it's a big thing for them as well. It's a big responsibility for them, as I've been saying. And another thing, what somebody was mentioning about was they've become addicted to scratch cards. I haven't got a clue how to do anything with them. I had a little bit of experience in my teens where I was buying scratch cards a lot, but that really wasn't for me. I don't know. We can look at all sorts of different ways and means and stuff like that. But I mean, for me, the thing that has helped me the most has been the 12-step program. So when I talk about GA, I'm not talking about just going and sitting in a room and talking about our day and whinging and moaning about what's going on in our life and stuff like that. That's not GA. That's kind of the fellowship. When I'm talking about GA, I'm talking about the 12-step program. So steps 1 through to 12. And recognizing that, when we place, as I keep saying in all these videos, recognizing that when we place the first bet, that the first bet triggers off a reaction in us to place the second bet and place the third bet and place the fourth bet. But the issue is we are unable to stop ourselves from placing that first bet at certain times. And we need to have a barrier in place, because that's the thing. If we have a barrier in place, if we have a safety barrier in place, then when we go to gamble, the barrier's there, blocks us off and protects us. So if we can get somebody to look after our finances, that might work for a little while. But what happens when we're given our finances back? If there's been no change within our mind, within our views, within our motives and things like that, if there's been no dramatic change within us, we're still the person who we were prior to giving them the control of the finances and so on and so forth. So this is a big subject that I'm going to talk more about in future videos. So this is just a taster of it, but it's not as simple as what people would think. Well, just give your finances over, control your finances over to somebody else. Not everybody can do that. And the question is, how long do you do it for? Do you do it permanently for the rest of your life? Do you do it for a month, 6 months, 12 months, whatever? And the thing is, it's like once you do have control over it again, if you've not changed at all, there will come a time when the mind will twist, and you'll think it's perfectly okay to put a bet on, that it's perfectly safe. And this is why I went through the steps, because I knew that at certain times there is absolutely no way at certain times I can stop myself from doing it. There's no way at certain times I can stop myself from putting on a first bet. And because I can't stop myself from putting on a first bet, it means that I trigger a reaction within me to bet more and more and more. And that's my experience. So I'm going to leave this video here, and I'll speak to you all soon over the weekend. Bye for now.